Welcome to the Love Lounge podcast. This is not a place to learn, it's a place to land. Nothing here has to be earned, and nothing needs to be fixed. Love Lounge is an atmosphere, not a lesson. Here's your host, Laura Doughty.
There are certain words we use so often that eventually we stop hearing what they actually mean. For me, becoming is one of those words. We're always becoming something. Becoming stronger, becoming wiser, becoming successful, becoming healed, becoming the person we're supposed to be. But lately, I've been wondering, what if becoming isn't always about becoming someone different? What if sometimes becoming is simply allowing more of who you already are to come forward? And maybe that's where I am right now. Not trying to become someone else, not searching for the next version of me, just becoming more visible, more expressed, more willing to let what has been living quietly inside of me finally have somewhere to go. And that's what I want to talk about today. Not as a lesson. I don't have 7 steps for becoming, thank God. This is the Love Lounge. We're just going to sit in the room with it for a little while. I've been thinking about how strange it is that we experience our lives completely differently than everyone watching them. People see the announcement. They don't see the years before it. They see the book cover. They don't see the life that had to be lived before there was a book. They see somebody cross a marathon finish line. They don't see all the mornings that person, me, along with many others, had to get themselves out the door and put the miles in and feel the body ache and do it anyway. They see the new project, the photograph, the website, the finished thing. They see what became visible. But becoming happens mostly when nobody is watching. And I know something about that. I've spent a lot of my life building, creating, starting over, leaving places, entering new ones. Sometimes because I chose to. Sometimes because life made the choice for me. I've lived through seasons when I knew exactly where I was going. And I've lived through seasons when the only thing I had was a knowing that where I was wasn't where I was meant to stay. Those seasons don't photograph particularly well. There's no glamorous Instagram carousel for I have absolutely no idea what happens next, but something inside of me says keep going. Nope. There's no flipping through pictures that will convey that. And yet some of the most important decisions of my life have been made from exactly that place. A few episodes ago, I talked about giving ourselves permission to evolve, and I meant it. I've had different rooms, different names, different ideas, different expressions. Things were completely right for me when I created them, and eventually weren't the room I needed anymore. I don't look back at those places and think, what a waste. I think, thank God for that room, because I needed it to get to the next one. That is becoming too. We have this strange habit of thinking that evolution invalidates what came before it. It does not. The woman you were wasn't stupid because she didn't know what you know now. She got you here. The dream you once had wasn't necessarily wrong because another dream eventually became larger. It carried you until you could see farther. And sometimes love means being able to look backward without needing to go backward. To say, thank you. You were exactly what I needed. And now I'm going to go this way. But here's what feels different for me now. For a long time, becoming felt like movement. Now there are days that it's just stillness. Not stillness in my life. Believe me, there's so much happening. I have a memoir coming into the world. I'm training for my 8th marathon. I'm telling stories I've carried for years. I'm creating, I'm building, I'm imagining so much more than I could have ever imagined I'd imagined. There are the things on my desk, things in my heart, things that exist only in conversations right now. And perhaps a few things I'm not going to tell you about yet. Not yet. But underneath all of that activity, I'm standing remarkably still. I know where I stand, and that may be one of the greatest gifts of becoming. You stop requiring every new thing to tell you who you are. A relationship doesn't get to name you. A success doesn't get to name you. A failure definitely doesn't get to name you. Money doesn't get to name you. Applause does not get to name you. Silence does not get to name you. You know your own name. And from there, you can create 1,000 different things without becoming 1,000 different people. There's another part of becoming that I think deserves more tenderness, the private part. Because before anything becomes visible, somebody has usually been carrying it alone. There are conversations nobody hears, decisions nobody knows you are making, things you choose not to respond to, doors you close quietly, doors you quietly leave unlocked. There are mornings when you wake up absolutely certain, and then afternoons when you wonder if you have completely lost your mind. There are things you protect simply because they're too new to survive everybody else's opinion. And I've learned something about that. Not everything needs witnesses while it is becoming. Some things need darkness before they need light. Seeds know this. Nature teaches us this. We don't dig them up every morning and demand evidence. Are you growing? Are you sprouting? Are you sure? Can you show me? When will you be ready? We put them into the ground, we tend to the soil, and for a while, we allow the unseen work to be enough. I think human beings deserve some of that grace too. So here's where I'm going to get slightly mischievous. Because there are 4 months left in this year. And I have some things I'd like to say out loud. Not predictions, not announcements, certainly not promises. Consider this a conversation between me and whatever loving forces may happen to be listening. You can listen to. You just may not know what I'm talking about yet. Even Daisy thought that was funny. I want to enter these final months without chasing them. And I say that because I have so much in my radar of what is ahead that I'm so excited about, that tends to happen when you get excited about things. Like, think about going on a vacation. Like, you've got your checklist, you've got, like, that's chasing. Okay. So I want what belongs with me to recognize me. Doesn't that feel good? Think about that. I want the right rooms to open without me having to break the doors down. I want the people who are meant to sit at the table to know why I'm there. Provision to recognize my vision, and creativity to have somewhere worthy to land. For my work I've done in private to meet the world at exactly the scale it was built to hold. I receive without immediately asking what I have to do to deserve what arrived. Raise your hand if you can align with that. I will keep my hands open without giving away what belongs in them. I cannot wait to be surprised. Delighted, actually. Even better. Some things are going to arrive more beautifully than I knew how to arrange them myself. And I will have enough presence to recognize them when they do. There. That's all I'm going to say. I actually said more than you could even imagine. And my angels know the footnotes, for sure. What I can tell you is that the next 4 months matter to me deeply. Of course, November is my birthday, and it's going to be extraordinary for reasons I can already name, like running the New York Marathon, turning 60, and Raised by Fire coming into the world. Those 3 things alone would make this an extraordinary threshold. But I also have this feeling, I'm tearing up right now, sorry. And I'm going to allow myself to say all of this without explaining it. That I'm going to look back at this particular season differently once I'm standing on the other side of it. And I know, of course I will, but not because I'm waiting for life to begin. That's very important. My life is happening right now. And I am some days holding on for dear life. I'm not sitting in a waiting room asking November to come rescue August. I'm here fully. But I also know the difference between ordinary time and threshold time. And this feels very much like threshold time. That's part of what Raised by Fire is really about. The title sounds like it's about what happened to me, but increasingly, I think it's about what remained. The fire matters. Of course it does. But the fire isn't the conclusion. The woman who walked out of it is. And as I begin opening the door to the story between now and November, you're going to hear pieces of it through the podcast, through my Stoop stories. Make sure you're following me on Instagram for that. Through the miles, through things I haven't shared before. Not because I'm trying to convince you of who I became. I don't need to do that anymore. I'm simply letting you meet her. Maybe that's becoming, not the endless pursuit of some better version of yourself, not waking up every morning with another part of yourself to fix. Maybe eventually becoming becomes recognition. Oh, there I am. I've been there all along. And perhaps the work wasn't creating her. Perhaps the work was removing everything that convinced her she couldn't take up the whole room. So, wherever you happen to be in your own becoming, you don't have to know what everything means yet. You don't have to announce every seed. You do not have to explain every change to anyone. And you certainly do not have to turn yourself into a project. Some things can still be becoming. Some things can remain between you and the dark soil for a while. And some things you may already know, even if nobody else can see them yet. As for me, I'm going to keep the light on. I'll keep the door open and keep doing the work that's mine to do. And allow these last 4 months of 2026 to introduce themselves to me. I have a feeling we have quite a lot to talk about. But for now, I'm becoming, and that is enough. Thanks for joining me on the Love Lounge podcast. You are very much appreciated here, and you are very loved.
Thank you for allowing the Love Lounge podcast to be a part of your day. There's nothing you need to take from this. Just let it be with you. If you'd like to explore more, you can find more about Lara at lauradoughty.com or raisedbyfire.com, and follow Lara on Instagram at the Lara Doughty. The light is on. Our door stays open.